like it's time for Democrats to wake up. I've given Democrats grace in terms of I gave y'all a week to be like, well, y'all need to be hollering at the Republicans. But when we are witnessing a coup from inside of the government where agencies are being infiltrated and overtaken, then I feel like now somebody got to motherfucking do something. You need to be out there in front of these agencies. You need to be walking in there. Shit, storm the damn agencies. If these Elon Musk people can do, why the fuck can't you do? What they gonna do? Arrest you? Like it's time to put something on the line here. And I don't feel like Democrats are rising to that occasion as a whole. Some individuals are, but as a whole, it's time to put something on the line beyond PowerPoints, PDFs, bullet points, straight to camera videos that you post on your Instagram. Be out there, be visible, be physically present in a way that just makes people feel like there's some sort of fucking resistance going on. Cause I'm not seeing it to the extent that it needs to be there. And I try to give them grace, but now I'm just fed up.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's go over to Sam, South Carolina, first time caller. What's up, Sam?
Hey, how are you guys? All right. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for accepting my call. To the last point that Reese was just explaining, I'll say that my logic of we need to go it alone, and I actually called in with the same point with Larry Daniels earlier, is that we stood by while all of these lawmakers were grandstanding and they were pontificating and they thought the law was going to prevail against Trump. They had so many times to indict this guy and they just let it go on because they gave him hope. Even up to the last minute, the very last minute, when Joe Biden sat there and told him, welcome home to the White House. That was so embarrassing. It was a low blow to everyone that believed in this democracy. So in order for it to, we really have to create our own party, because what we're given to both of these parties, it is never any benefit and reciprocated back to us. Now, initially,
Sam,
I called.
brother, I got to tell you this. I know you called Larry's show earlier. We can't even get people to vote.
Right.
This whole idea of creating our own party, we can't even get people to vote. What we should be doing is trying to capitalize our power that we have in the Democratic Party, the way the Tea Party did it in the early 2000s and the way the MAGA Party did it. So before we get to the conversation of starting our own party, we have to get to why people don't even vote. 92 million people didn't vote. Despite voter suppression, despite all those things, we know there are people who are just not showing up. There's also the Working Families Party. They do amazing things in New York. They do things locally. I like the idea of doing things locally, but there are already parties that are doing that.
Yeah.
But as far as starting our own third party nationally, that's just a circular conversation. We got to get people out to even vote. How can we activate people to just show up?
And we let two very strong fighters lose their primaries. Jamal Bowman lost his primary because
The black and brown
there was
area.
abysmal turnout in black and brown areas. You can't tell me, was it Lawler or whatever the fuck the guy's name was who won? You can't tell me he was a better option for that community, but they didn't fucking vote. Same thing with Cori Bush. I remember Cori Bush with the whole rent moratorium that was getting ready to freeze or whatever it was, and she was out there with her Doritos multi Frito Lay pack and her scarf and shit and her lawn chair protesting. That's the kind of energy would be really fucking nice right now to have somebody who's willing to sit out on the steps of somewhere, shit, pick a building, they've all been overrun, and say, I want people to come in and see that we're not going here. We're physically going to make our presence known. But she lost her primary. Now she lost to a black man. But my whole point is we say that we want certain energy, but then we don't protect those who give that energy. We let them get out fundraised and out and get voted out. And then we like, oh, the party ain't doing shit for us. Well, that's part of the problem. And I mean, look at the different primaries where, you know, black candidates didn't beat the white candidates that were the centrists, and it was the white man with the wife and the picket fence and all that stuff. So, I
Look at
mean, I'm
Stacey
not
Abrams and Brian Kemp.
say yeah.
Look
So
at Jeff Landry and Sean Wilson in Louisiana.
yeah, and remember Gary Chambers was
Gary
giving a
Chambers.
daily update on, was it East Baton Rouge, where the black woman mayor got voted out over a motherfucker who hadn't even voted in a decade, a Republican. And this is a primarily black area. So I want us to activate our capacity that we are not activating right now. Where I say this over and over again. I'm not saying go out there and scout unregistered people and register them to vote. I'm just saying the motherfuckers already on the ballot rolls. Can you vote? Can you take your ass to the poll to the poll and vote? What we need to do? Uber, Lyft, what? Souls to the polls, what we got to do? Because what's his name? Bill Cassidy. He's up for re-election right now. There's no reason why these states where we're largely concentrated in the South have 2 Republican senators outside of Georgia.
We're
And
majority
North
in red
Carolina is
states.
up for re-election too. I think it's Tom Tillis. He's up for re-election.
Yeah.
So we have areas where we have unexercised political power while we talking about creating a party. We ain't even at capacity what we're doing right now.
But go ahead, Sam. Final comment.
Okay, yeah, I hear all of those. I hear all those talking points, and I'm definitely in agreement with those. And I will say that Cori Bush election, when she lost her seat, that was definitely a heartbreaker. I'm not even in her state, but I do remember her, actively engaging on the Capitol steps, sleeping out on the Capitol steps to get that bill passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely understand.
Compelled to call simply after you made a comment regarding independent black political politics, which I really couldn't disagree with your point more. I think one of the problems that we have politically is we continuously do the same thing over again, and it's not working. I believe the Democratic Party is just as racist against African Americans as the Republican Party, even though there is a subtle difference. One is a little more overt and one being covert. With independent black politics, any districts which is majority black, if you look at a national scale, then of course, there's, with our numbers is less effective. But districts that are majority black is no way in the world African Americans, not the Democratic Party, who has its own agenda, who floods a lot of money into candidates that they want to be faithful to the Democratic Party. And districts that are majority black, where black people decide who's going to run, whether it's a district leader, a city council person, a state senator, a state assembly person, African Americans should determine who we want to run, and not the Democratic Party, because that's the way it presently works. And once we solidify local political influence, then perhaps we can expand to some national. But if we don't control...
Hakeem, let me ask you a question, sir, because that was about 90 seconds there. What is it that we keep on doing over and over?
Running the Democratic Party.
Wrong. No, that's a myth. What we keep on doing over and over is not voting.
Mm-hmm.
For the ones who vote, they vote majority Democrat. For the white people who vote, they vote majority Republican. And nobody pathologizes white voters when they do that.
True.
But we don't vote blue no matter who. We vote the couch no matter who. I have interviewed independent candidates on this show before that say I cannot get people out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally talked to people. So it is a myth that we vote blue no matter who. We're with the couch no matter who. Even when we have good, firebrand, incredible candidates. I agree with you that a black area, you should elect someone who's going to represent you, who knows your area. They don't even stay in office. Whether Jamal Bowman was a Democrat or an independent black political party, he still would have got voted out. So, listen, the D or the R, I don't care about. I care about who is going to protect the most vulnerable, who's going to focus on community. But if you don't have people voting, then you're already checking out. And forget the presidential election. We're talking about state house, state senate. I mean, so I just really want to be clear about that. First, we have to tackle getting civics back in our schools, so folks understand government. I think it should be mandatory to vote, but folks don't want to do that because then that'll have a higher voter turnout. We have to get people to vote. And the Working Families Party, Tish James was elected that way in New York. They do great stuff. But they've even come on the show and talked about the difficulty of people voting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for that, but that would require 95% voter turnout.
I mean, Detroit had 47% in the presidential. 47% in the presidential. That's pathetic.
When you look at the numbers locally per state, it's heartbreaking. Louisiana. I know you know Gary Chambers, Hakeem. Like Reese said, he's on TikTok begging people to vote.
They be like 30%. we gonna take over the country with 30% turnout? I don't think so. We're not even taking. They can't even hold on to a ward. Okay, they can't hold on to a city. Okay, so I'm just saying, let's be realistic, but also like let's get rid of the D and the R. Let's talk about policies, because a lot of times these people want to put up there, oh, this third party, that party, and then when you ask them what the policies are, it's the same fucking policies that the Democrats are running on. Maybe, okay, your thing is reparations. Okay, well, most of Democrats support reparations or whatever. So I mean, I think that the whole focus on, oh, we gotta punish the Democratic Party or we gotta withhold from the Democratic Party. That's not how this works. You're not withholding anything. If you withhold, then you're irrelevant. If you create your third party, then again, you're irrelevant because you don't have the political power, you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the funding.
Final comment, though, Hakeem. Go ahead, brother. Final comment.
Yeah, I still can disagree with you. When you say that we don't vote, people are being elected in our community. So somebody's voting. And I'm talking about local politics now, and I don't want to expand it to national politics because that becomes more difficult. So when people say that no one's voting in our community, how are people getting elected? So
I didn't say no one's voting. I said it's low voter turnout. Mm-hmm. I didn't say no one.
47%, 30-something%. We quoted the specific numbers.
Yeah.
To get elected in these local races, you don't need a lot of voters. If you look at the number of people that vote for the city council and for Congress and for state assembly and for state senate, I'm talking about New York because that's the state that I know.
If white people vote at 70% and black people vote at 50%, who's going to win in the battle of the votes? Just let's do the math.
I'm talking about majority black districts where you don't even need one white vote. There's a lot of
even in a majority black district, nonetheless, you could have an insidious black candidate. And nonetheless, if you only have, I've covered some stories, Hakeem, where it's 1,000 people voting. You know what I'm saying? But if you believe that's it, I mean, okay, all good. I care about us exercising our power. But we have to go, brother. 20 seconds. Go ahead, man.
Okay. All right, thank you for your call. And let's say I just respectfully disagree. Independent, and I respectfully disagree because I really enjoy your program. I really enjoy your conversation. It's all good. But
do you know the Working Families Party? Do you know the Working Families Party?
All those parties are white-led.
Well, the Working Families Party, I don't know about that. I mean, they do some really great stuff, but okay. I mean, all right, it's all good. It's all good. They do great stuff, though. They really, really do.
Yeah, Maurice Mitchell, he's really good. A lot of great people.
Maurice Mitchell is incredible. Yeah. But okay, I wish we could start it now then. Start it now and show me the receipts, So all good, though.